Hey guys, I hope you're all well and you're having a lovely day. So today I'm going to be doing the most requested video that I get all the time, is how I do my everyday makeup. So keep on watching. I'll be showing you guys how I do my everyday makeup and how simple it actually really is. So first I'm going to start with my eyes. I put a bit of Carmex on my lips just to kind of like hydrate them. Whenever I start with my eyes, I always put in black liner underneath my eyes. I've just always done it for years, and it's just something that I like to do. So the one I'm using at the moment is the MARC Jacobs pencil. It's really good and it lasts literally all day in your eyes. So I'm gonna go and put that in. Okay, so once I've put in the black liner, I'm gonna go and put the base for my eyelid. The base that I use is the MAC Soft Ochre, whatever you guys want to call it, but that's what I'm using. The only thing that I've put on my face is moisturizer after I washed it. I don't really prep it with anything else. Ain't nobody got time for that. So when I'm using this, I'm just going to use my finger, put a bit on my finger and just go in on the eyelid. Okay, so once I put it all over my eyelids, both eyelids of course, I'm going to quickly go and get a creamy coloured eyeshadow base. So the one I'm using today is from the company called Melt. I use this pretty much all the time. It's the classic colour. So I'm going to go in with my Kiko brush. It's the 0.12 brush. I'm just going to basically rub that in there. Take a bit of the excess off, and I'm going to just take this all the way across my eye. Just trying to mattify that eye, because obviously the soft ochre that I've just put on, that's going to start to crease if I don't mattify it. So this is what I do. Once I've mattified my eyelid and I'm happy with it and it looks like equal, it doesn't look like it's got patches on it, I'm going to start with my eyeshadow. So my eyeshadow is very basic, that I do pretty much every day. The palette that I'm obsessed with at the moment is the Tarte Pro palette. So I'm going to go in with my 1.15 brush from my Kiko. It's the blending shadow brush, and I'm going to use the colour with Whimsy. So it's that colour there. So it's just like an orangey shade. Tap off the excess, and I'm literally going to start working in that you know where that crease line is. I'm just gonna work that. Okay, so once I've done that orangey shade on both sides, I'm gonna go in with my same palette but the color Edgy. So it's this brown color here. So it's a lighter brown, and again I'm using the same brush. I'm just wiping it clean with this Sephora brush cleaning sponge. So I got this from Sephora, just cleaning off that colour, and I'm going to go in and use that brown. So when I'm using that brown, I just literally add it just below that orange colour. So more on the lid of my eye. But I'm still sort of taking it up to blend it into the orange. You don't want like one bit and then the other bit. You want it to kind of blend. So usually what I tend to do is I'll kind of stick to this shade, because I'm quite happy with that as a daily sort of colour. But if I want to go a shade darker, I will go in with the shade Smoked. So again, from the same palette. As I said, I love this palette. And this I literally just add just to the bottom of my lid. Once I've done both lids, both the eyes, I'm going to clean off the excess with a wipe. So when I do go in now with my primer and foundation, it doesn't affect it. Okay, so the primer that I use is the Laura Mercier foundation primer. This is just the original primer. They do have different types of primers. I used to use the hydrating primer before, but then the lady was like, if you've got oily sort of skin, it doesn't make sense for you to use the hydrating, because on my T-zone area I get really oily. So she said just go with the normal primer, the original one, and that will work for you, because this primer is really good for me. It just really works for me. So I'm just gonna put that on. Once I've primed my face and I'm happy and it's all blended in, I'm gonna go in with my favorite foundation at the moment, which is the Fenty Beauty foundation. So the color that I'm using at the moment is 220. So I'm literally gonna shake the bottle and put that on my face. I'm just gonna blend that in with a beauty blender. Oh, not this one, my black one. I'm gonna blend. Okay, so now I've blended all that foundation in, and I've taken it down to my neck as well, just to kind of blend that all in. I'm going to use this new primer that I've been using recently. It's the Creaseless from Tarte. I got the shade light medium. I'm just gonna put that on under my eyes. I'm gonna blend that all in, but using a different beauty blender, the pink one. There's not a reason why I changed them, it's just because for the face, because this takes up a lot of the product when I'm doing the foundation, I like to use a different sponge to do the under eye and the baking. So yeah, that's the reason why. Okay, so once I've done my under eyes, I set it with the Chanel powder. This is like my ultra favorite powder to use. I absolutely love using it. It's so like, it's just like blends in so nicely. So I'm gonna go in underneath. And on this side. And then I always powder my nose as well, because my nose gets really oily. So I always go in extra on my nose. So once I've powdered, I'm gonna just leave that there to set, and I'm gonna go in and do my contouring. So the contour stick that I use is the Bobbi Brown contour stick. So it's the foundation stick, and it's the color that I use is the color 8, which is Walnut. So this is like my favorite contour stick ever, because when I blend it, it blends in so nicely. So I'm just gonna go in, do that side and underneath. Ooh, what's that? So I always do under my chin, and I just do my cheekbones, you know. Need to get that shape. So to blend the contour, I use this brush that I got from Illamasqua. It's like a, I think it's a contour brush, but anyways, this is the one that I use. So I'm just gonna go in and blend that up into my face. Okay, so that's the contouring done. And now what I do after my contouring is I'll blend all that powder away. So the brush that I use is the, I think this is the blusher brush. It's called the blusher brush, I think. Yeah, it is the blusher brush from Charlotte Tilbury, but I use this to take all my powder off, because I just feel like, because it's a bit smaller, it's easier for me to kind of like get rid of all that powder. So start from underneath the eye, and using this powder, I'm just going to blend it all over the face. So once I've done the powdering all over the face, I'm going to go in with my dry contour. So I'm using, let me show you, this Kevyn Aucoin powder. I think it's in the colour medium. So I use this and I go over wherever I've contoured, just to kind of hold that contour in. So I'm using my NARS brush, this one. I don't know what it's called, but this brush. Okay, so once I've done all my contouring and I'm happy with the way it looks, I'm going to now go and do my eyebrows. So whenever I start my eyebrows, I always brush the brow with a spoolie. So whenever I do my eyebrows, I use the 263 MAC angled brush, and I also use the dip down. So this is the product that I use to put onto my eyebrows. I'm just going to take a little bit and start from the bottom. Okay, so once I've done my brows, I'm going to go in with this brow gel, this tinted brow gel from Anastasia. The colour that I use is Granite. And I'm just going to get those hairs from the front. after I finished my brows, I always like to go in and do my underneath of the eye, because whenever I don't do the under of my eye, I always feel like my face looks incomplete, like my eyes look so weird. So again, I'm going in with the same palette. So even if I'm using another palette, I always go in with the same palette and use the darker colors and blend the bottom of the eye. So I'm going to be using my Sephora brush. This is the one that I'm using at the moment. It's just quite a dense brush, so I like using it for underneath the eye. I'm going to go in with the darkest colour in the Tarte palette, apart from black. I'm not going to go in with the black. So I'm using the same colour that I used on my eyes, called Smoked. And I'm literally going to go underneath. So once I've put the underneath bit of the eye, I'm going to go in with this other brush that I've got. I don't even know where I got it from. I think BH Cosmetics. But it's just a small blending brush basically. I'm going to go use a lighter colour. So I'm either going to use Edgy and the orange colour, mix them together. So literally like this and like this. And I'm going to put that underneath my eye. Okay, so once I'm happy with that, any excess product that I've got underneath my eye from the bottom eyeshadow, I'm just gonna brush that away. So after this, I will go in with my mascara. The mascara that I'm using at the moment is the Dior Pump and Volume mascara. It's a waterproof mascara, so it really holds all day long. So I'm gonna go in and use this now. So now that mascara is done, I'm finished off my face. So I'm going to do highlighter and blush. So the highlighter that I'm using at the moment is the Anastasia Amrezy one. It's just the Amrezy one. I'm going to go use a fan brush that I've got from Zoeva. It's the 129 Luxe fan brush. And I'm just going to go in, get a bit of that highlight, you know, all that goodness, and put it onto my cheekbone. So that's my highlighter done, and now I'm gonna go and use this MAC palette that I made myself. It's a blusher palette, and I'm just using any pink. Once I've done the blusher, I'm going to move on to my lips now. So I'm going to take off all that Carmax that I put on before, and I'm going to first line my lips. On my lips, I'm going to line it with the pencil from MAC called Spice. So once I've lined my lips, I'm going to go in with the MAC Velvet Teddy. So that is my makeup done. That's it pretty much. That is my everyday makeup. So for everyone asking, this is it. So eyes, you've got the two browns and the orange. So I hope you enjoyed watching that makeup tutorial. That is literally my everyday makeup and how I do it. It's the most requested video for me. A lot of people always ask me, how do you do makeup, how do you do a tutorial. So that is a tutorial. Those are all my favorite products that I use literally every single day. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like, comment and subscribe, and see you next time. Peace.